Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Zombie Dance Party. I'm your host, Hive Tyrant 424, and we are gonna be playing 7 Days to Die. um, let's see here. I I'm a little annoyed. I went this morning to look at my channel analytics to, kind of see where I was at with my viewers and whatnot. And for whatever reason, my my video yesterday was ended after 10 minutes of broadcasting. YouTube stopped my broadcast, and I had no idea. So I was playing for 3.5 hours, talking to myself for for nothing. So I'm not sure what happened. I hadn't played any music. I hadn't. I mean, as far as I knew, all the software was running properly. Everything was going great, and yeah, it just didn't allow me to broadcast and record for whatever reason. So there was a lot missed from yesterday. I did do quite a bit. I'm going to show you the pit that I had started digging. This is. Oh, hang on a sec. There we go. Had a volume issue. So there's Bert and Ernie. They've been covering me while I dig out this pit that we're going to be turning into an underground base. There's the stairs that we're going to use to get into it. And yeah, I don't know what to say. This is going to be our new facility. Uh, yeah, I don't know why the YouTube stopped my broadcast. I didn't do anything that would have been, a copyright infringement of any kind. So I'm not sure why they just shut me down. It's one of those things you want to you want to call customer service and say, "What the f, buddy?" But yeah, good luck. I'm not monetized. I mean, I don't imagine even if I had 500,000 subscribers that YouTube would give a damn that my subscribers wouldn't have gotten to see yesterday's show. I don't know. If it wasn't a horribly redundant use of my CPU, I would independently record my episodes, and then if something like that happened, I could upload the video anyway. But I don't know, it kind of defeats the purpose behind the live broadcast, doesn't it? And I might as well just excuse me, I might as well just make a recorded series and oopsie, that was stupid. Supercorn's not done yet. Excuse me. So we get to pick up where I left off yesterday. Now, Dee had asked me during our live broadcast the night before last if I could show her some basics with regards to electricity. So I did. And she had commented that there weren't a lot of tutorials, good tutorials at any rate, on some of the basics of 7 Days to Die, which I found surprising. I haven't looked them up in a while, but when she brought it up, I do remember when I was first starting out to watch or playing 7 Days to Die, I had the same problem. And it was a similar problem when I was trying to watch another game or trying to learn how to play the other game that I play, Space Engineers. The information that was available on YouTube was severely outdated. I know there's a lot of Alpha 19 videos out there, but there doesn't seem to be a lot, if any, tutorials explaining how to do stuff. I remember watching one. I was kind of annoyed with the maker of the video because the clickbait that he used said it was a tutorial, a beginner's guide to 7 Days to Die, and he didn't at all. Like there was nothing in that whole video that was addressed to beginners. You know, it was all this guy briefly touching on like the controls, for example, how to move and do this and do that, and like maybe 5 minutes discussing, you know, the game itself for players that have never played before, and then he launched right into gameplay, showing, you know, how smart and how great and how clever he was with how he played and how he built and stuff. And it's like, dude, you're not showing players how to do stuff. And I would be, and I was, you know, really turned off by that. So apparently we could use a couple of tutorial videos. Now I was last night, and I ended my broadcast. Thankfully, maybe thankfully, YouTube didn't allow my broadcast to go on yesterday for whatever reason. And so, you know, I'm not held to any commitments or promises, but I am making the commitment that, you know, I do want to set up some kind of tutorial videos with regards to doing stuff in 7 Days to Die, because there's a huge learning curve to this game. Now, the Fun Pimps have sort of a tutorial in the game, and this is your tutorial here. Or wait, no, it's this one, the journal. And each one of these pens represents a subject, and it does give you a little bit of information about what it's talking about, but it doesn't, you know. Or, you know, he says expandable up to 6, but it requires at least one lead battery. The maximum energy output is determined by the number of batteries installed and their quality. Like it's very general information. You know, there's nothing specific. You know, and you know, I mean, Dee had to, you know, she asked me basics, electricity basics. How do you get started with electricity? And I was like, well, you know, it's not hard. It's not complicated, but it's not exactly what you would call intuitive. So I'm going to start a quick tutorial here, kind of an impromptu tutorial, and you know, we'll go from there. First, I need a few things, so I'm going to grab some building materials, iron, mechanical parts, and electrical parts. These are the most common items you're going to use for most of your electrical stuff. Okay, but a generator bank, I believe, requires polymers. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. There you go. So we'll make a generator. Ooh, hello, guys. We'll make a generator bank. Actually, we may as well make a few. I don't need 37 of them, though. Let's make 6, because we are going to be needing electricity and generators for that beast of a base down there. Oh, speaking of beasts. Let's see. Anybody else? No, yes. All right. As you can see, I do have plenty of concrete to spend on the construction of the new base, but I will be needing a lot more. And I am currently in the process of making another 24,000 there. So there's another 24 stacks of cement or concrete mix coming out from there. Where do we go? Let's see. I think I'm set for ammunition for the next blood moon or two. I should be okay. Got plenty of ammo for my turrets. Bert and Ernie. The generator banks do take a while. If I needed them right away, I have 3 other workbenches over there. So I mean, if I was queuing up 6, I could queue up 2 in each, and then I would still, or two in there, two in there, two in there, and then this workbench would be free for other stuff. But I'm not in any big hurry for all 6. I just want one. So I just queued them all up in one stack. That is a pretty skyline, isn't it? All right, got a generator bank. Excuse me. You're going to need a few things. You're going to need a wiring tool. You can't make these as far as I know. Let me see. Nope. You can't make a wiring tool. You either need to find them or buy them. However, they're really common. They're really easy to find. Find a working stiff store, like not the little tiny one that's in the strip mall, because it's only got like 2 working stiff crates in it. But find like a working stiff store, even the medium-sized one, and unless you're game stage, unless it's like you're brand new, and even then, you might still, you'll walk out of there with at least one wiring tool. Last time I went in there, I had like 6. So you'll need a wiring tool. You'll need a power source. So the 2 power sources, there's 3 power sources, but I don't, oh wait, I do have, yeah, I do. Look at that. We can do the full tutorial. We can do the full Monty. And crappy batteries though. That's all right. And we'll get one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. Tripwires, switches, sure, why not? And a shotgun turret. All right. So first things first, if you're building electricity outside of your land claim, you're not going to be able to pick stuff up if you make a mistake. Hive Tyrant, how do I know if I'm building inside my land claim? Well, I'm glad you asked, Hive Tyrant. You can go to your land claim block and you can turn on the view or see your borders. Okay, I'll show you that here. Press E to use. You can either remove the land claim block or show borders. There you go. You see that green square, that green cube? That is your land claim. Anything you build within that green frame belongs to you. Other people, if they're your allies, can build inside your land claim, but they cannot pick stuff up. You're the only person that can do that. All right? And the other way to tell if you're building inside of your land claim is just take a regular wooden block, like whatever, this wooden block here, that your building block, and place it on or go to place it on the ground, and you see how there's a very thin green outline? That means it is within your land claim. All right? We'll go down here to where we know the land claim is no longer ours. There's green, there's white. Okay? That means you can place the block, but you can't pick it back up if it's like a component or a fence. Wooden blocks you can always pick up. The frames you can always pick up. But if I had a fence post, where's my fence posts? See how that's white? That means if I drop it here, I can't pick it back up. The only way to remove it, if I drop it in the wrong place, is to break it. Whereas here, I can place it, and I can pick it up. All right? That's the very first thing you need to know about electrical traps and stuff. Be very careful if you're building them outside your land claim, because you have to, break the components to pick them up if not. Here's something else that you need to learn. See how it's red? Can't build there. Won't let me place it. Other players' land claims, that's what you'll see when you're trying to build on their land. Red square. All right. Let's go back upstairs. I feel safer in my home. Now I want to turn off those borders of my land claim because I don't need to see them. My whole base is inside my land claim, and that's my preferred places to build is within the land claim. And the reason I showed you that is because I have, on occasion, I've gone out if I find a really particularly rich resource vein, I have built a concrete shelter over it. You may have seen when in the multiplayer game that Living Dead girl and I played last night. I did that for her. I covered 2 of her mines in concrete shelters. And I have also on occasion, if I plan to be there mining for a while, before I have the Bert and Ernie protection services, I will, or I have placed a shotgun turret or an SMG turret, a battery bank, and a generator to repower or to replenish the batteries, to recharge the batteries. So just be aware that you can't pick those back up if you place them unless you place a land claim. Now you can, if you're building somewhere else, like let's say I built, an electric fence system over there, and I put a land claim down because I needed to fix it or adjust it or whatever. That negates this land. Oopsie. That would negate this land claim block here. Well, it's really easy. All you have to do when you're done is take that land claim block out there and place a new one here, or just place a new one here. It will cancel that one. On my multiplayer server, each player has the ability to own up to 5 land claims. So you don't have to do that in my multiplayer server, but for whatever reason, they don't allow that in single player. As far as I'm concerned, in a single player game, it should be an unlimited number of land claims because it's your game. There's nobody else in it. What do I know? Excuse me. So here I am chewing down on some steak and potatoes. How's my food doing? Okay, I still got lots of food. That's good. I should be eating this crap because there's no benefit to keeping it. Where'd it go? There it is. Excuse me for just a moment. I'm clearing out some room. They should make like some kind of fruit cocktail thing where you can make an open food system. Maybe would be kind of cool, where you could just blend shit together like my wife used to do. She could do some amazing stuff with whatever she could find in the cupboards, and I was blown away by some of the miracle meals that woman could produce with virtually no ingredients. Just so you know, you might be looking at my thing going, why are you wasting all that food, Hive Tyrant? You're already way maxed out on your food. You don't waste it. When you're overfed, when you have way more food than you actually need, your food burns slower. So it's never a waste. And I just freed up 20 spots in my no, I didn't free up 20 spots. Quit being such a goober. I freed up 2 slots in my ready to eat bin. Not that I needed it, but there you have it. Okay. So, electricity. Let's go over here. We got a little bit of room to work. So the first thing you need is a power source. Okay? We have our choice of power sources for the purposes of this demonstration. The solar bank, which takes up 4 by 1 squares. It's pretty massive. You've got the gas generator. And you've got the battery bank. All right. Now, the first one that you're going to have access to, I think, is the battery bank. It's the easiest one in the perks. Let's take a look here. Advanced engineering. Okay, so not there. Not there. There you go. The electrician, level 3. Learn how to craft generators and build advanced base defense systems such as electric fences and blade traps. Okay, so no, I lied. The gas generator is the first power source you learn how to make. There you go. The battery banks is level 4. That's interesting. But anyhow, so generator, battery bank, and then eventually solar panels. Fair warning, you cannot make solar panels. You cannot make the solar banks. You must buy them. Banks aren't expensive. I think it was 2,000 dukes for the solar bank, or 2,500, depending on your barter skill. But the cells can get pricey. I think the level 6 cells start before perks and buff foods. I think they started about 30,000, maybe 40,000 dukes a piece. So it's really expensive, and their power output isn't as impressive as the gas and battery versions, but they do have their advantages. So gas generator. When you open the inventory of the gas generator, you can see you can press E to interact with generator bank. You also have the radio menu, by the way. This is how you pick it up if you want to if you've put it down someplace and you want to move it. This is how you open it. Pressing E quickly when you're looking at it does the same thing, and this just turns it on and off. Power source requires at least one component. Yes, I know that. I'm getting there. All right. So you see you've got gas, max output, and power. So you have to refuel. You have to have gas in your inventory. Each click of the refuel button puts 250 gas in the generator. It holds 1,000 gas, as you see there. All right, now its max output is currently 0 watts. So you could turn it on, but it doesn't have any way to generate power, so it's not letting me. So you put an engine in one of these 6 slots. Doesn't matter which. They're not location specific. You can either shift left click or you can just drag it over, whatever. But you'll notice when I put the engine in there that it says max power or max output 50 watts. This is important. You don't need to be like Albert Einstein type mathematician or anything like that. There is a little bit of math involved in building with electricity. And if you're like drawing, I have a pad of graph paper that I sketch out roughly sketch out wiring diagrams for my trap sets so that I can know how many components I'm going to need to build. So it's important that you know how much power you have to work with, and the motor from the generator for gas generators will produce a consistent 50 watts. All right. Now, right now there's no power output on this system, so it says 0. Now I could turn it on. And the one thing I don't know, so I'm actually going to find out. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to find out if this thing actually how much gas this thing actually consumes when it's not producing any power, but it's turned on. Because I've never known that. I've never checked. I've never looked into that. All right. Oh, what? Do I still have all my? Yeah, I do. Hey, look, the rest of the generators are done. Let's get a basic light bulb. And I think I've got pretty much everything else I need for the time being. I think. There we go. All right, now it's daylight, so you're not going to be able to see it very well. This tutorial would have been better underground or waiting until night, but this is what we have to work with, so you got to bear with me. All right. So this thing isn't going to, it's not going to, I can tell you this, even if it is going to consume gasoline when it's not producing any power at all and there's no power draw on it, it's not going to be much gas used. These things do last quite a while until you start stacking more motors in there and you start drawing more power. All right. The battery bank works in a very similar fashion to the generator bank. You can see it's got a max output, it's got a current output, there's no refuel button on it, and there are 6 slots into which you can put these guys, batteries. Now the higher the level of the battery, 1 through 6 is your available levels. The higher the level of the battery, the higher your max output will be. I don't know what the level 6 battery produces as its max output, but I imagine it's probably 50 watts. So, and I have a reason for that supposition or that estimate. We'll see if I'm right later on when I find one. I think the reason I say that is I think the maximum size of a circuit is 300 watts. All right. And that really sucks because you cannot line these power sources up in series. Okay. Like I can connect either a generator or a solar bank to this battery bank, but it's not going to add the power output of the power source to the battery bank's power output. Okay, as I'll explain. Let's see. This guy he's producing 50 watts. Oh, but he is using gas. Let's see. Oh no, not yet. He's producing 50 watts. This thing only produces 37. So if I wire this generator to this battery bank, it will recharge the batteries. All right. Let's see. So now we have to connect something. Let's connect something. I showed this to Dee the other day, and she thought it was like a great idea, and I was like, I don't know. It didn't really seem like all that brilliant or anything to me, but I guess she thought it was pretty smart. And here's our electric fences. These things are both the bane and the boon of the existence of the lone survivor in 7 Days to Die. These are a staple electrical defense system. They hurt zombies and they stun them, but they also hurt and stun players. And owning this fence does not make me immune to the damage that it inflicts. So we'll start off with the basics of how to wire up a fence. All right. Now, the first thing I need to show you before I even bother showing you this is there's only a certain amount of distance that you can stretch a wire. I think it's 15 squares or something like that. Let's see. Just gonna you right click on a component to start wiring it, and you'll have this wire connected to it. You see how it's kind of leading up to your left hand there. Other players will see you holding a coil of wire. All right. Now, if we go over this way, the wire is black. Now look at that. The wire is red. So at this point, if I turned around and tried to connect this wire to any electrical component, it wouldn't let me. I've stretched the wire too far. All right. But this is the neat trick. I like this. If you stretch the wire out to it's black, not red, but it's at its next step back will be red. You turn around. If you can get that other component, if you can get its icon to highlight on your marker, like let's see, I have to move forward to there. See how it says 5 watts in gray? That, by the way, is the power cost of that component. All right. This is where that math comes in. So I can't reach that. That fence post is too far away. How many squares do I have to move in order to make it black again? Let's see. It's probably just 1 square away. Could be. Okay, so what I do is I come over here, and I'll pick this guy up. I'll move him 1 square closer, then I'll try again. We pause this tutorial to vacate the head of a screamer. Let's see, that's 3 shots so far. My goodness, Hive Tyrant, get some coffee in you. Wow. All right. So again, right-click on the fence. With the wiring tool in your hand, you right-click on the fence, and it will give you a connection wire. Hop over here, and oh, still red. So we got to move it one block closer. This is how the game keeps you from stretching a wire from one end of your land claim to the other. It kind of seems like I'm showing you things a little bit out of order, but I'm really not. What I'm showing you is the distance between components first, okay? So let's count the squares if we can. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you can have 13 blocks in between components. You see how that wire is stretched really tight, though? That looks really cool. It's like a plumb line. All right, so you have your 13 block gap, not including the 2 components. That is your max distance. Very, very important that you have to know that. I don't remember it, and I've been playing this game for almost 2 years now. So I mean, it's not hard to remember because when you go too far, your wire will turn red. What is that? There's something over there. When you're holding a wiring tool in your hand and it's your active item, you'll be able to see the area of influence of any motion detectors or cameras or turrets. And there's something in that house there. I don't know what that is. I'm curious. I'm going to go and look at that later. if I remember, which I probably won't. But as you can see, holding the wiring tool, I can see the area of influence. Like it's basically it's covering all of me here. But of those 3 turrets down there, okay, I can see where their motion sensor, their cameras are aimed over here, and over here, you'll see the same thing with my shotgun turrets. All right, so that's a handy tool. I imagine if you're doing PvP, if you're raiding a player's base, this would be a really good way to see some of their defenses. I never thought of that before. Anyway, let's get back to the tutorial, shall we? So you have 2 fence posts. You need to have at least 2, all right? And the reason for that will become quite easily apparent. But when you point at any electrical component while you're holding your wiring tool, you're going to see the name of the item. If you can pick it up, if it's within your land claim, you'll see it. Press E, otherwise you'll just see electric fence post. But underneath it, you'll see a little white plug icon and a number. The number is gray, it's 5 watts. That means that component currently has no power. All right? The first component that you click on is your output line. So that's the line that you start at, okay? And the direction of flow does become important later on. It's more advanced stuff, but the bottom line is that when you right click on the first post, you get your line. The second one is your destination. All right. Now you see it might be hard to see on the stream. I'm going to hold really still and hope that the game's resolution picks up. You can see that there's a black line with these blue dots or dashes that are zipping across the line. Okay, that is your direction of flow. That becomes very important. I'll show you why right now. Because if I were to do this and wire that to that fence, okay? Because let's say I want to protect this block right here, okay? I don't want any zombies getting anywhere near it without, or any players, let's say if I want to protect my land claim block, okay? So I set up the fence like this, but I don't want this to be electrified. So, let's say I want to go here like this and blah, blah, blah. There we go. So now I've got this really awesome square, but now let's say I change my mind, or I do something that I want to be able to walk through here too. All right. Well, if I go like this, can't make infinite loops here. This is the point I'm trying to make. All right. Every component in the electrical system, in the circuit that you're building, may only have, actually every electrical component in the game may only have 1 input. All right? You can have as many outputs as you like. Actually, the limit is, I think, 9. We'll get to that. You can do that, okay? So you can have multiple outputs from this fence line, but each fence line, each component can only have 1 line flowing in. So you need to plan out your direction of flow so that you can wire your stuff up. And one of the dangers of fence lines, aside from the obvious zapping yourself in the face danger, one of the dangers of fence lines is, yeah, that's kind of neat. Wiring in circuits or in series. So what I mean by that is, I wire from this battery bank. Say I wire it to there, and then let's say I wire from that fence to this fence. Oh, yeah. So I wire from this fence to that fence, okay, and then that fence to that fence. Now let's say, pretend this is around my whole base, and I'm trying to set up a perimeter fence line. Okay, so what's going to happen if these all have power, so they're all going to hurt. But what happens if a zombie breaks this line right here, breaks this fence post right here? Well, then that fence has no power, that fence has no power, and that fence has no power. All right. So I learned this a long time ago. I have my fences are all wired the same direction, okay? But rather than have this going to there and then to there and then to there, if this were on the ground, I can do that in these ones because there's little to no chance the zombies are going to actually break these. But they could. And if a zombie broke that fence post right there, my entire fence system would lose power. All right. So if I were putting this on the ground, I would want to have power from this fence post to this one, from this fence post to that one, from this fence post to that one. It's not anywhere near as pretty, although it can look kind of cool if you do it right. It's not as pretty, but it does guarantee that if this fence post goes down, these ones still have power. All right? Very important. Now, quickly, the color of the lines is important. Right here we have a black line with the yellow dashes leading up here. That means that this power is live, but it is covered. All right? No danger there. This line being black with blue going across, that's a bare wire. All right? I haven't actually turned this on. So, blue wire. Ooh, ow, look at that. That hurts. You ever seen the movies when a guy says, hey, is this electric line hot? And the guy's like, I don't know. He licks his fingers and he touches the wire. Or, people pee on electric fences. This is what it looks like. That's what it feels like. It hurts. As I said, you are not immune to your own fences. When you're working with electricity, when you're first starting out, especially when you're building electric fences, bring medical supplies. Do yourself a favor. Because you're going to do that a lot. I did it all the time when I first started, and I still do it. I still walk through my own fences every now and again. I forget they're on. So, how do you set this thing up so that you'll know that the fence line is hot? Okay, a couple of ways you can do that. The first is this wee little guy right here. All right. Now it's going to be very hard to see in daylight, so I'll put him there so you can see a dark block there. Now you see the light is currently off. The light bulb it's a grayish white. All right. So you can do that. Now you see the light is on, and what I'll actually do is I'm going to wire the fence to the light. All right. So the only time that light is on, these fences are hot. They have power. All right. Now, something else to be aware of. Let's see I guess I can use the light bulb since I don't actually need that now. You can turn the light bulb on and off if you wish, but my advice would be, see now these are dead now. My advice would be if you're going, you got to remember that the light bulb uses power. All right, it costs you 5 watts, so excuse me, it is a good idea. Especially if you've got fences that are out of your field of view, like out of your line of sight, you can't see them. It's not a bad idea to spend the extra 5 watts in the circuit to put a light bulb warning you that circuit is on. All right. Got a screamer. Hang on a sec. Where is she? Oh, what am I worried about? I got turrets covering both entrances. I don't give a damn. Hell with the screamer. Okay. So where were we? We were getting experience for the screamer. Hee hee hee. I love turrets. Electrical traps are, in my opinion, the most fun thing to build for bases. You can build all kinds of clever pathing things and whatnot, but if you don't put electric traps in your base, you're missing out on all the fun. It is worth noting that I do get, because I've maxed out my advanced engineering, so I'm getting 50% experience from all electrical trap kills. That means fences, that means dart traps, that means blade traps, and turrets. The turrets that I set up with, that I power, like that shotgun turret there, or those shotgun, there's 3 of them, the 3 SMG turrets up front, And it was funny because last night in our multiplayer game, I was out doing my vendor circuit, so I was like 3 kilometers away from the base. But Living Dead Girl was at the base, and every time a screamer showed up, and she would scream and spawn a horde, the turrets were killing the horde, and from 3 kilometers away, I was getting experience. It was really cool. So something to bear in mind. You do get experience if you've perked into it. You get very little at the start. It's like 20% is your starting point, but as you perk in higher into the advanced engineering, you'll get more experience for your electrical trap kills. I mean, I make the argument that I don't use spike traps because you don't get experience for the kills. Somebody may counter argue, while you use turrets, and so my counter to their counter is, yeah, but I get some experience. And let me tell you something. I had one base that I had 6 SMG turrets protecting the tower and 2 shotgun turrets. All right, and it was a very similar. It was an earlier rendition of my current ramp design, and it was. I mean, yes, they detonated demolishers, but the entire killing field was steel reinforced concrete, so I didn't care because I mean, you could blow up something, demolishers pretty much all night, and as long as they're not detonating in the exact same spot every time, they're probably not going to destroy the base. Very little damage. But anyways, I spent the entire Blood Moon just rearming, reloading each turret in sequence. That's all I did. I didn't fire a single shot. And I had close to 1,000 kills. So what they lack or what they take away or cost in experience, they make up for in volume. The more turrets you have, the faster they kill the zombies. The faster the zombies respawn and come after you, the faster the turrets kill them. It reaches a point where it does balance out. Of course, you do have to mass produce a very large amount of ammunition for SMG turrets because they are bullet pigs. They suck ammunition really, really fast. Stacks and stacks of it. So, anyway, back to the electric. So we got our fences. Another way you can just wire the fences directly to the power source as such, and then to control the fences, you just turn off the power. Okay? No power, no zappy, no ouchies. Okay? But that's not always practical. You don't want your power source to be exposed to the zombies or to the cop spit or the vultures. Apparently the vultures are programmed now to go after power sources if you leave them out in the open. Like if you put it up on the roof of your base or whatever, the vultures will destroy them. And there goes your whole base defense if you're relying on the fences or the electric traps. So what you do to bypass that or get around that is you install one of these guys. Actually, there's a better place to put that. I'll put that on the land claim so you can actually see. First of all, this is what we refer to by electricians as a knife switch or blade switch. Okay, and that's because there's a handle, and it pivots in the center of that handle, as you'll see, and one position is on, one position is off. The default state of these switches when you place them is off. All right, so right now this. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to repair it before I can pick it up. Do I have my nail gun? No. Fortunately, I do have the components in my pocket to repair it. That was not wise. I have time. Okay. So I can't switch it on right now because it doesn't have a power source. So we're going to hook this guy up to power. See, now I can turn it on. Okay? This is the top. When the handle is pointing up, your switch has got power. Okay, this one doesn't currently because it didn't have the power source wasn't on. Okay, so now right now this battery bank is on. This switch has power. I can turn it on. You can't see it because it's light out, but there's a light on here that will either be red, green, or white. Okay, green means the power is on. White means power is available and it's on, but I think typically, I typically see their white switches when I log out and I log back in. I'm not sure why, but white also means hot, okay? Red means that either there's no power to the switch or the switch is turned off. Okay? So if you've got a series of switches throughout your base and they're all red, chances are whatever's feeding that circuit is dead. All right, so you want to, it's a good way to try kind of troubleshoot your circuit when you've got like lots of stuff hooked up to this bank, or lots of different sets. Like if I have 3 or 4 sets of 4 fence posts wired to this thing, and I've got one switch in between all of them, then I can see that if there's no power, where that problem is. Multiple switches, like one switch in between each of these 4 fences, I can see if one of them doesn't have power, one of those circuits doesn't have power, because the switch will be red. But again, bear in mind that each circuit that each switch that you put in your circuit eats up some power. They never used to. They were kind of a free line relay that you used to be able to use to extend the ranges. Oh, nice twofer. That's the armor-piercing bullets, by the way, that did that. Oh, she's going to get all upset, offended, and feral on me. Anyway, using switches that didn't consume power used to be an exploit, a cheat way of extending. Whoa, that's live. I want to go through that. It used to be a way of extending a line without adding power cost to the circuit. All right. So you'd put this one down, go 13 spaces, put another one down, and then you could run a wire between the two, and it wouldn't cost you any power. They fixed that. The switches only cost 1 watt. It's not a lot of power, but they did add a power cost, so you have to factor those in to your circuit costs. All right. Now, remember that every source every component in an electrical circuit in 7 Days to Die can only have one input. All right. So now what I've done is I have set this circuit's fences to the switch. So now we are safe. All right. Turn on the switch. Again, you can't see the light, but I think it's the border of that yellow thing right there. I think it will turn green, I think. But now this circuit is hot. All right. Something else that you'll notice is the amount of the power cost below is yellow. That means this guy has power. See what happens when we mouse over it when we turn off the power source? It's gray. That means no power. I have no power, or I can't do nothing. I can still switch it off and on because it has an input line now, but it doesn't do anything. It has no power. All right. So there you have it. So now, how you've got your basic fence system built. How do you find out how much power? Because I don't want to go around with a pad and pencil and write down, okay, this is 5 watts, this is 5 watts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 20, plus 1 is 21 watts. I mean, that's a simple circuit. What if you've got 15 or 16, or even worse, you've got an odd number of fence posts, like 12 or 13 or 15, right? And you've got other components, you've got lights, you've got blade traps and turrets. How do you find out how much power a circuit has? When you go to your power source. Max output 37 watts. Right now, we're only consuming 1 watt. Well, that doesn't make sense, Hive Tyrant. Well, yes, it does. The switch is off. Look at that. It adds up the total circuit value. All right. So that's basic electricity in a nutshell. Now, these batteries, as you can see, that battery has been powering a little bit, not a lot, but the power is going down. That yellow bar, okay, it's a level 3 battery, so it's yellow. That yellow bar will slowly go down to, and then it won't provide any more power. So even if it's on, battery bank will not provide power to your fences, and that sucks. So how do you recharge them? With a generator or with a solar bank. All right, generator. This guy is putting out 50 watts. So we right-click with our wiring tool from the generator, to the battery bank. What happens if you try and do it the other way? No, this power source cannot have a parent connection. So in other words, the generator can only have output connections, no inputs. This prevents you from setting up a series. Okay, setting up 2 generator banks in a series. All right. Now, if I put down another battery bank here, and I can connect this generator to that battery bank and to that battery bank, but I can't connect this power generator to this battery bank and this battery bank to the other battery bank. I don't think I can. Pretty sure I can't. I'm pretty sure I've tried this before, but I'm going to try it again. Actually, I won't, because I don't have another battery bank. Oh, here's Popeye said, how embarrassing. All right, battery bank. What do I need to make one of those? I can make batteries, but all I could do is make level 3s. And I'm not spending 4 bottles of acid to make a level 3 battery. Best I can make is a 5. I'll just find my 6s, thank you. Polymers. Oh, geez, I've got lots of those. That'll take a minute and a half to make. So, in the meantime and in between time. So, this generator is on. It is now consuming 26 watts. Why is it consuming 26 watts? Because this costs us 5, 10, 15, 20, 21. Oh, I guess the battery bank costs 5. Why does it cost 5? Because it's recharging the battery. Look at that. It's already recharged. Look at that. It's fully recharged. It takes a little bit longer with higher level batteries. Okay? But now that that battery bank is full, or that battery is fully charged, by the way, it's the generator that's currently powering the system, okay? Not the battery bank. See? It's on, but it's producing 0 watts. Again, so you can't stack this. If you had this max engine's 300 watt output, and you had max batteries in here, 300 watt output, you couldn't have a 600 watt circuit, all right? You still only can have a 300 watt circuit because only one of these power sources will power your system at a time. Right now, it's this one, because it's the stronger power source. If this one had 300 watt output, but this one only had 200, this battery bank would be the power source that would be providing power to your circuit, provided your circuit needed more than 200. Okay? And I know that's getting complicated, and that's getting into, you know, more in depth and stuff, maybe stuff that you want to figure out right now, but that's the basics of it. Okay, you can only have one power source running a circuit at once. All right. Now, where that becomes important is when you start using solar power. First of all, the highest level solar cell you can get is a 6. You'll notice that it puts out only 30 watts. That's 20 watts less than the gas generator with one motor. And you might be saying to yourself, "Hi, Tyrant, that really sucks." And it does. I will agree with you there. But here's the beauty part. This guy uses no resources. It doesn't cost you anything beyond what it cost you to buy it. Okay? It doesn't consume fuel. It never runs out of fuel. As long as that doesn't crash into the planet and burn us all to cinders, this will have power. But only during the day, between 0400 and 2200. And I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out shortly because it's 1900. I'm not sure if it's exactly 2200 this thing stops working, but you can pretty much assume that that is the case because that's when it is officially night in 7 days to die. I know what the rule is, but I don't have a shotgun that can reach this far, and I don't feel like going all the way down there just to pop a biker. So, all right, back to solar power. So, max 30 watt output per per level 6 solar cell, so that is 180 watts. That is the most you will get out of a solar bank. Now, the nice thing is that you can charge batteries with the solar cells. So, I mean, you can do that with the generator, but this is I'm going to qualify that remark. This is a simple circuit, okay? It is always consuming 21 watts, all right? But this is something that I've recently learned, and, you know, I mean, there might be some players out there that are going, yeah, duh, tyrant. But I didn't know this. Okay, this is something I recently figured out for myself. And we'll go like this, this. Okay, so we're gonna pretend this is a wall somewhere or down there. Okay, I've got this this system set up for that circuit down there for my turrets. We take one of these bad boys, the motion sensor. Now you'll notice with the motion sensor when I'm going to place it, it's green and I can see a green cone. You can actually use that green cone to aim, but it's kind of hard. It's just showing you which way is the front right now, okay? So I get my wiring tool out and it will show me what that green cone is aiming at. So now what I do is I'm going to take this switch out. I'm going to keep it simple. All right, so now I'm going to run a line of power from the battery bank to the motion sensor. Motion sensor does cost 5 watts, but now that I've got the motion sensor powered, I can have it look for zombies. I can have it look for strangers and zombies, or just strangers. That would be other players. I can have it look for my allies, or I can have it look for only me, little old me. I usually do that. When I set these circuits up, I set them up to target zombies. If I'm on a multiplayer server, I will also set target strangers. Okay? The power delay instant. So from the moment that this motion sensor detects a zombie or a stranger, it will instantly turn on the power, okay, to everything it's connected to. And the duration, power duration, is how long it will stay powered after whatever powered it, whatever triggered it, leaves its visual range, right? So you can put it to 5 seconds. So it will continue powering the line for 5 seconds after there are no more zombies within its view. Or what's the maximum? Triggered means for as long as this thing sees zombies, there's power, okay, or strangers. So I've never used this particular setting always, but what that means is that there's no power in the system until the first time a zombie or a stranger walks in front of the motion sensor. And then it will turn the power on and it stays on forever until you turn it off again. All right. And then, of course, the longest is an hour, 60 minutes. And that's real time, not 1 hour, not 60 minutes in game. It's 60 minutes of real time. So it will stay on for 60 minutes. Now, I use triggered. All right. So I only want this thing supplying power to my fence line when it actually sees zombies. All right. So then we run that to the first line in our circuit. Now, I'm not a zombie, so that fence isn't on. But if a zombie were to walk through here, suddenly that fence has power. Now, we go back to our circuit and we look at our power source. We're only consuming 5 watts. This sucker will last forever. It's only consumed 3 gas in the time since I started this tutorial and I turned it on. So it wasn't consuming all that much gas for the system. But now I can leave this thing on probably for a couple of days without refueling it, because it's only going to supply power. It's only consuming 5 watts. Now, I think in electrical terms that would be 5 watt hours, which is like 5 watts per hour, I think. I don't know. I could time it and actually find that out if I really cared. I don't. The bottom line is that I'm only spending 5 watts on my system right now, despite the fact that I've got 21 watts worth of components, or technically 25 watts of components in my system. Okay, now you can get more complicated with this, and you can put in, you can put in a switch, and you can put in a light bulb, right? So that you wire this to the switch to the motion sensor to the light post, and the motion sensor to the fence post, so that I've flipped the switch on. Now the motion sensor has power, but the fence system still does not. All right. because the motion sensor is the one supplying the power to the fences. There are no zombies in its view. All right, so that light won't turn on. If, however, I go to my motion sensor and I set it to detect anybody, like me, strangers, zombies, whatever. Now watch when I walk in front. Oh, look, motion sensor says, hey, you, I see you. Light turns on, and we have power. Okay? So you can make it as complicated as you want, but remember, the more complicated you make it, the more power it's going to consume. Now, this thing is only consuming 6 watts because this thing is taken over. It is powering at 37 watts and drawing the rest of the power from the generator to recharge the batteries. So I guess I was wrong. It's been known to happen on occasion. The battery bank, I guess, will be the primary power supplier, most likely because it's either because it's a battery bank and that's the way the game is set up, or because it's the last power source in the circuit. I don't know which, but now that the battery bank, now that my system, it was consuming power. See, now we're back to this. We're supplying 6 power from the generator because the battery bank isn't drawing any. It'll get a little bit more complicated as you get more in depth in your power costs and stuff, but the bottom line is that you can set up circuits. You can set up circuits so that you have redundancies and you have, warnings. There's a really obnoxious. I don't even know if I have one. Let's see if I have one. If I do, I'll show you because they are obnoxious. I don't use them. No. You know what? I'll make one just because I want you to see how annoying they are. It's going to take 30 seconds. So while we're waiting, do I have another battery? Yeah, I do. Okay. So let's answer the question. Hive Tyrant, what happens if you put 2 battery banks in the circuit? Okay, well, first of all, you can't. Okay? Again, it can only have one input. But can you do this? You can. All right. So now what this means is this generator is powered this circuit, and it will recharge these batteries and these batteries. I'm assuming only if the circuit has enough. But does that mean I can put 600 watts into this system? I don't know. I didn't actually know you could do this. I didn't know you could wire the battery banks in series. So it could be we could have a circuit of 600, or we could put, a 10,000 watt base on a single generator. I mean, that would never work for all obvious reasons, but that does work. All right, so we have our answer. We can compound the power output of 2 battery circuits, or 2 battery banks, or multiple battery banks. And that's cool. So, in doing a tutorial, I have taught myself something. I feel good about that. All right. Now this goddamn thing. Speakers cost 5 watts. A massive over cost in my opinion. Watch this. Right? The light is on. The siren is screeching. Step out of the field of view of the motion sensor. It shuts the hell up. However, handy if you've got a base where zombies can come from multiple directions, or you have multiple entrances, or you can set these up so that the motion sensors are internal sensors, so that your perimeter, if your perimeter is good, everything is fine. This will only go off if somebody breaches the perimeter. If a zombie breaks through your wall somewhere, for example, and a motion sensor picks up that a zombie is now inside the building, and it'll send off that signal. It is super, super annoying. I tried having one of these speakers set up on a wired stair tower like I've got here, so that it would only I would only have power to my circuit when there was a zombie on the bridge or on the ramp area, and it worked, but that goddamn speaker was always going off, and it got really irritating. So I don't use them. I don't like them at all. By the way, if I took this wood frame away, my whole circuit would collapse because I would lose the motion sensor. It would go, crunch, and then everything here would be powered down. All right? So I'm not going to do that. All right. So so far, that's basic electricity. I hope this is making sense so far. The only other thing we need to cover is the solar cells. So I'm going to go back to my wiring tool, grab my solar cell, and as you can see, you can't set the system up so that it's an either or, which I would prefer. And I've said this many times that fun pimps really need to put in logic gates into the electrical system of this game. It would make electricity so much more diverse. It would make it more complicated and intricate, which would be awesome, but it would allow me to do things like this, right? I want my solar panel to power my battery banks. I want my battery banks to power my circuits, but only if my solar panel isn't putting out enough power, okay? And I want my generator to provide power and consume electricity or gasoline to produce the electricity only if my solar bank isn't producing enough electricity to run my circuit and recharge my batteries. Does that make sense? But I can't do that. So all I can do is I can wire solar cells to that battery bank to that switch, that battery bank to that switch, or to that battery bank, and then it doesn't go anywhere. I cannot incorporate two sources of power, two recharging sources into a single circuit and have them both charge both battery banks. It won't work. No, you got to choose. Okay, now the advantage to the battery or the solar bank is that between the hours of 0400 and 2200, excuse me, it's providing power. I don't know if that is consistent power. I don't know whether cloud cover and weather like rain influence the power output of a solar bank. I imagine it should, but that might be too complex of a math calculation to incorporate for very little payout. I mean, it would be realistic, but the level of realism I don't think would be impacted enough to make it worth it. But I don't know whether or not it's true. I've never actually sat here and watched or monitored my solar banks for like half a day to see whether or not the power output fluctuates. No idea. If you're bored and you want to find that out, and you do find the answer, if you post it in the comments below, I will give you a virtual snuggle, because I can't be bothered. That's electricity in a nutshell, everybody. Oh, I must repair this before. Oh yeah. Oh, I've almost forgot to tell you about this. Component damage. First, I'm going to eat some steak and potatoes because I don't want to starve to death while I'm standing 10 feet from my food. And I've got a stack of steak and potatoes in my inventory. That would be embarrassing. You notice it took a long time for me to actually get hungry again because I overate those canned foods earlier. And now I'm going to drink until my kidneys explode. All right. When you're using when you build electrical traps, okay, when those traps inflict damage, turrets, I don't think the shotgun turret and the SMG turret, they might not, but they do have durability. I did have to repair a shotgun or an SMG turret in our multiplayer game, and it didn't look like its surrounding area took any damage. So it could be that they take damage by firing as well, by inflicting damage, but it's certainly disproportionate. This fence isn't taking as much damage as it's dishing out. I promise. These components do have hit points. As you can see, this one's got 200 hit points, but it's only got 199 right now. They can be attacked and destroyed by zombies. I have seen zombies target these things and attack them. I like putting them out of reach. Or if you look over here at my setup over here, my fence posts are deliberately far enough apart, they're far enough away from my ramp, and they're far enough apart that if a demolisher explodes on my ramp, these fence posts are out of that area of effect. Barely. Yes, that is the size of the area of explosion of a demolisher. When they explode on this line here, everything within 5 blocks, 5 meters of that demolisher takes damage, and they are brutal. This is why you want to kill them fast, because if a demolisher gets up this ramp, gets to here, climbs up this ladder, and he's standing next to me, first of all, he's going to start punching and beating on me. But they also will trigger their detonation sequence. I know there are people that say, no, they don't do that. I've seen it, okay? I have seen it. I've been attacked by a demolisher. I'm not shooting him. And suddenly he starts his countdown. His detonator turns red and starts beep, 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 beep. So, yes, they will get to you, and like a sapper from Vietnam, they will pull the cord on their own bomb. All right? So be warned. If somebody tells you that demolishers don't explode unless you shoot them in the chest, not true. And don't say I didn't warn you if it happens to you. So, traps take damage when they inflict damage. That includes those guys there, blade traps. Okay? They will take damage. Now, with fence lines, a fence post will, even if it's taken so much damage that it no longer functions, and like this, let's say this fence post takes enough damage that it shuts down. Okay, as long as the post isn't destroyed, it will still transfer power to the other posts. But the bare wire will not have enough electricity traveling through it to inflict damage. What that means is that as long as this post doesn't get destroyed, this circuit will continue to get power. So even if these ones aren't damaged, they'll still be zapping zombies further down here. It's just this line won't be functional. Okay? Now every time a zombie hits this line, you'll see this bluish, yellowish, purplish spark thing go on at the fence post, and it'll make this zappy sound. And what that's saying is something's trying to electrocute itself on my fence. I can't. I'm broken. Fix me. Okay? But it's not destroyed. It costs less to repair a fence post than it does to build a new one. So obviously you want to try and repair those if you can. That is, for me, that's my gauge. That's my how far up the ramp of the zombies getting gauge. When that first fence post starts to zap, that means that I know that they've moved up to the second one. When I see 2 of them zapping, that means they're on the third step, and so on and so forth. So I know how close they are to me. And when I can see, but if I'm lined up like this for headshots, I can't actually see what step they're on. All right. And so if I see 4 or 5 of these fence posts zapping, I know to switch to my shotgun because they're getting close and I need to cut them down. Shotgun, M60, I need to push that wall back. So it's a handy little indicator as well. You can repair these things in combat, but it's a little tricky. So circuit is hot, the little light is on, now it's off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, so that was my shotgun turret. To repair these things, you have to have the components in your inventory. For most electric components, it's electric parts, mechanical parts, and forged iron, or any combination of those 3. For the blade traps, you do also need to have forged steel in your inventory, but it's not much. That was actually a really expensive repair because it was only damaged 1 hit point, but I still spent an iron bar and electrical component. It's also worth noting that the fence posts, that they will both take damage when they are inflicting enough damage, but primarily it's the receiving fence post that takes the most damage. All right. I kept walking through this line here. So the line between this post and this post was causing damage to its components, but I didn't do enough damage to damage this one. only this one. But in a blood moon, hundreds of zombies passing through this line. Both these fence posts will take damage, but this will be the one that causes the shutdown. Okay, because it takes more damage than its source. Not this one won't take no damage. With enough damage inflicted, it will start to take damage. But yeah, it's the source doesn't take as much damage as the receiver. And that's all traps. I don't know. Dart traps probably do as well. But I mean, the cost is, in my opinion, it's well worth it. You get you can also, by the way, before I take this, let's switch this light off. Let's switch it on. So see how it's not getting power? Kind of sucks. I was going to say you could use the light bulb as a negative, but it has to have power in order to turn on when it's not being given power. Yeah. So there's a way to do it, but it's a little bit complicated and little second dance kind of stuff. So something to note about motion sensors, by the way, you can aim them. Just like turrets. You can aim them in a full 180 degree half moon or half globe, half ball field of view. So the other thing that's disappointing is you can't zoom them. I like to see if you could narrow down the path of a motion sensor. But you can't. Now motion sensors, like turrets, they have the same glitch. Once you've accessed a motion sensor, you're going to have the tool belt glitch. It's going to be hard for you to target other wooden blocks. Like I can't pick this one up. It's really hard to do that. That's a glitch. Don't know why, but it is a glitch. It is a known problem. 7 days to die. The easiest way to fix it is to have a block or a placeable block on your inventory. I don't know if it works with other blocks, or other items and tools, but let's just say that it doesn't. Actually, I can find out easily enough. Access the motion sensor. Okay, no, and of course now because I did. Oh no, wait, you have to activate the camera. With turrets, it happens as soon as you access the turret. And of course now it's not going to give me the glitch. Make me a liar. Why not? Anyway, when you get that glitch where you're having trouble targeting blocks, actually, nope, it won't give me the glitch because I'm trying to show you how to get rid of the glitch. When you get the glitch, take something off your tool belt, have it highlighted as your active item, take it off your tool belt, close your inventory, switch to another slot. It resets the bug. I don't know why. That is electricity in a nutshell, everybody. There's a lot you can do with electricity. There's a lot of tricks and tips, neat little things that you can do. Explore. It's a lot of fun. Once you start using electricity in your base builds for traps, truly I believe you'll feel the same way I do, and that was how did I survive without them. Also worth noting, just quickly, pick up the battery bank. You get the batteries that were in it. You don't lose them. Same with this battery bank. I'm going to get that plus battery. And solar bank, same thing. You get the solar bank. You get all the solar cells that were in it. And this is neat. This is one of my favorite points here is with the generator. You get the generator. You get the motor you put in, or the motors you put in. But you also get all the gas you put into it. You don't lose the gas. That also means when you put down the generator again, you got to refuel it. But you don't lose the gas, which is super big bonus, because who wants to lose their... I'm getting rid of that. I'm never going to use those goddamn things. Oh, I've got dart traps. Okay, I can show you without having to build a whole circuit here. We put this stuff away. Oh, I forgot to show you these. Okay, I'll show you this really quickly, but I won't actually set up a system or a circuit for it. Sorry. Here we go. Timed relay. These things are a lot of fun. They're really good for setting up base defenses that you only want when the zombies are running, or you only want for night times for the blood moons. So you come into this thing, it's got to have power in order for you to access its menu. See, now I've got the damn glitch. It's so stupid. Okay, so I'm going to do that. There we go. Okay, so E to interact with the relay. All right, so start time. This is in the 24-hour clock, just like the game. So let's say you want this thing, you only want this circuit to have power at night. So you go 2200, end time. You can't type it in, you actually have to. 0400. There you go. So what that means is that this relay will only allow power to go past it between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. at night. So if you're setting up system, and it can also, you can have it turn off, so you can only have it on during the day and turn off at night. Now you might be wondering, why would I want to have a circuit that is only on during the day but not at night? And I'll tell you why. I have turrets down there protecting my ramp so that I don't have to turn the fences off and on every time I want to come into my base. I have turrets at the other end protecting the back end of my base, and I want those turrets. Or rather, I should say, I do not want those turrets firing during a blood, because the turrets will set off the detonations of demolishers. Okay, they will trigger the detonations, and so if I wanted to, and I right now I'm doing it manually. I turn those battery banks off prior to the blood moon. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I should check the power levels of those. I have generators on these battery banks to recharge the batteries, but yeah, I mean, as you can see, I've had this thing running for about, I don't know, a week. I've only ever turned that battery generator on once to recharge the batteries. It's only consuming 5 watts during the day because that motion sensor is powering these 3. These guys only actually consume their 20 or 25 watts worth of power for the time it takes to kill any zombies that are in this area. And that ain't long. But anyways, so I don't want those turrets firing during the blood moon. So if I wanted to make my life easy, I would just put a timer relay in there to turn it off between. Oh, shut up! To turn the system off between 2200 and 0400, right? Or rather, I would have it on between 0400 and 2200. Now I don't do that, and I don't do that specifically because I still want those turrets defending my stairs at night. Okay, so that's why right now I just turn the system on and off manually. I could put a switch in that system so that I didn't have to jump up on the turret and aim at the battery bank, but I'm not really saving myself really any work or effort, so I don't bother. Well, hey guys, how's it going? Come on. Don't be shy, your mother wasn't. Was a little nervous at first, but once she got into it, she got pretty aggressive. All right. I don't actually have to sit there and babysit and shoot zombies. I've got the turrets. I just like shooting zombies. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so that is your timer relay, and as you can see, I've got the glitch. So let's try it with something other than a block. See if that works. Yep, that works too. So it doesn't have to be a building block. It could be anything. You just got to take it off your tool belt, open your inventory, take it off your tool belt, and then close your inventory, switch to another item, glitch gone. So I don't actually need this. We'll pick it up. And there was another thing I saw in my inventory that I'm sure people are wanting to learn about here. So I'm going to put it out there, and that is tripwires. This is currently off, so I'm going to turn this on. So, oh, by the way, just so you can see, this circuit is putting out 171 watts. For all those fences, and that blade trap. That's what's taking up that power. All right, but I have a little bit of power to play with. So I'm going to show you tripwires. There's the light bulb. Now let's say we want that to be those dart traps. I have my dart traps set up on a panic switch. That would be this switch right here. Okay, that's my broken arrow button. If I get like 3 or 4 demolishers, or even just one demolisher on my stairs, and if he's getting close up to the top, they've broken enough fences or damaged enough fences that they can get to up here. I don't want to risk detonating that demolisher and blowing up my blade trap, because those are expensive to build. They take oil and steel, and yeah, they're kind of a big deal, and they take time, a lot of time to make. So if I don't want a demolisher on the stairs, or let's say, and I've had this happen, a cop will shoot spit at this block up here and destroy this fence post. So now not just damage, but I mean destroy this fence post. So now all these fences are all dead, and I've got zombies that are jumping up here, and I can't get them under control. I'll come back here and I'll say, fuck all of you zombies. I'll flip that switch. Now every spot on this staircase is getting iron darts fired at it at chest height. That's going to help me clear out those zombies pretty quick. If it doesn't kill them, they might stumble and stagger and fall off the ramp and have to go back to the beginning. So that's my panic button. All right, but I could set them up just as easily on a tripwire system. If I put a tripwire on, like, say, the 3rd stair down there, so if any zombies get to this point, all of these dart traps start firing. Now the drawback is that tripwires can't be set to either people or zombies. Anything trips the tripwire, it triggers the trap, which is why I don't have my dart traps on, because these things will kill you. I was testing a dart trap in another build, and it was aimed right at head level, at the back of the head of the zombies as they were crossing a bridge. And so I stepped on the trigger plate to test it. It wasn't a tripwire, it was a trigger plate. I stepped on the trigger plate, took one dart in the back of the head, dead. So they're lethal. Less so to zombies, it seems, because it takes more than one dart to kill them. But still, you get the point. So tripwires. These have to be wired in a very specific way. Again, this is another example of why you need to pay attention to direction of flow. Okay, so from the power source to the first tripwire. So now that has power. You see, it's got the 1 watt there. All right, the tripwire across the area you want to protect, and you'll see how it's purple, and we have different colors. It's all so pretty and fabulous. These are purple lines. It might be a little bit hard to see because it's daylight, but it's a black line with purple dashes going across. That means that it's an active tripwire. It's not in itself lethal or dangerous. It doesn't itself inflict any damage. When you hear that sound, I'm triggering the tripwire. All right. Like I said, you can't discriminate with tripwires. They either work or they don't. So now we wire this tripwire to the light. Let's say we just want to know when somebody's at the door. It's a doorbell, all right? Hey, look at that. Now this is the receiving. We can't do it with the source tripwire, but on the receiving tripwire, we can interact with it, and we have choices. Power delay, instant, 1 second, 2 seconds. So we could set it to 3 seconds. One thing you could do with this system is it's like a sort of an AND gate system, or you could set it up with a motion sensor so that this tripwire, and this is how you would consume no power during the day in a circuit. Okay. Let's say you're really cheap and you don't even want to spend five points of power on a single motion sensor, or whatever. You can get very detailed and intricate with your electrical traps. Multiple circuits that all have 300 power cost set to one power source that does 300, and this is how you would do it. Okay, so you can set this to delay for, let's say, 4 seconds or 5 seconds, and then the power duration is triggered. All right, so, well, you'd have to set it for longer than that, But anyways, so you set this so that 2, 3, 4, 5 light comes on, and it's staying on. It will stay on until it's triggered again, and then it will turn off. All right. I just like that sound. Sounds like a spoon hitting an electric fence. And this will stay on. I think this will stay on forever until the tripwire is triggered again. Pretty sure. And as far as I know, the tripwire posts don't take damage no matter how many times you trigger them. I could be wrong on that. I do know that the fence or the tripwire posts can take damage. Like they can be shot or, broken. By demolisher explosions. But I don't know if they actually take damage just by being triggered or not. Something to find out at some point. Anyway, that's electricity, my friends. It's very simple to learn, but it can get very intricate depending on how complicated you want to make it, really. I personally, I don't think I'd be able to build a traps or a base without electrical traps in it anymore. I don't even think I know how. I mean, just obstacles and terrain. I don't think I could do it. I'm soft. I'm squishy. I admit it. I need my electricity. I need my zappies. It's just how it is. But it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching the zombies dance. Hence, zombie dance party, right? I mean, I had to know there was a reason that my series was called the Zombie Dance Party. That is the reason. I fell in love with electric fence traps the very first time I made one. Not so much when I stepped in it. So we're going to turn. Whoa, 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 no, 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 stupid. Turn that off. Jeez. I got so into my demonstration talking about how the battery bank and blah, blah, blah that you know what I should do is I should actually drop a battery bank here, power it with, how much? 171 watts. How much power is it using when I turn that on? It's going to cost me some darts, but 273. So if I could get a battery bank, I'd have to put down 6 batteries level 6. So that would be fairly expensive. But then I could have the batteries powering my fences. And then I would only consume gas when the batteries were dead. Yeah. I should do that. Or I could hook it up to solar power and just get rid of the generator altogether. Because a set of battery banks, or a battery bank with 6 batteries in it, will power this system for an entire blood moon. Okay? Without having to have a generator. So what I should have done, and maybe that's what I should make as a goal, or an action list item, instead of digging that pit, I need to get 5 more solar cells level 6, and then put up a solar panel to charge a battery bank to run my blood moon, so I can get rid of that battery or the generator, because that consumes gasoline. It's not environmentally friendly, and I really want to get this goddamn wire out of the middle of my walking area. Yeah. Turrets will take care of you. I'm not worried about you. Right now, I am going to take just a couple of minutes. I'm going to get up and stretch my leg and walk around a little bit. Just get some blood circulating in the old bones here. You're not even doing anything, so I'll just turn you off. You could be producing cement. You ought to be in pictures. I don't know why I said that. This one's not doing anything, but I don't... Well, yeah, okay, I should probably get it making steel. Same here. I'll probably need more rebar later. Aw, man. You're telling me I need another construction box? Okay, I'll put it in here for now. I know. No, this is starting to get ugly. It's starting to get gross. But what can I say? I haven't been building stuff. I've been busy preparing to build. Look at all that brass. Do I have gunpowder? Not much. I got a lot of projectiles. I got a lot of brass. I just don't have a lot of gunpowder. So that's going to have to be a thing I get on too, is mining up more gunpowder mats. Unless my earthworks has... No. But I do have lead that I could be smelting, so I should be doing that. I'll get that going. Oh, wait. That forge is actually full of clay. Can't take any more clay, so let's burn some of it off. There we go. There's always one more thing you can do. Okay, so those both need clay. A little bit, not much, but they both need clay, so they're alright. May as well get my stone forges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and these all done. Oh, that one's not all done. Holy crap, that one's got a long time to go. Same with that one. Holy. Oh yeah, I queued up 8,000 in each of those, didn't I? Right. Damn it. Ugh. Really? Seriously? Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. Ooh, I know what I can do. Turn these into wet concrete blocks. Because I am going to need those. That'll help. A little bit. Maybe. Okay. Gonna take a 5. I'm gonna take a 5. Yeah. What can I say? It's hard to walk away from this game, even for the 5 minutes that I need to, because my leg is killing me. Okay. Seriously. Gonna take 5. If I don't take 5, you guys have my permission to smack my hand. Alright. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, I'm back. Did you miss me? Yes, Hive Tyrant, we missed you. Every bullet so far. Don't worry, your aim will improve. All right. I apologize. I don't have any really cool little 5-minute clips. I need to start working on little things, little video clips that I can put in when I do need to take the break. Sorry. I'll work on it, promise. All right, here we go. Let's see here. So it is day 69. We have a blood moon coming up in 1 day. Don't have anything I really need pressing to do. I'm going to need to do some mining, but I'll save that for after the blood moon. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to go down and I'm going to salvage up some vehicles and whatnot, and see if I can't find a battery bank that I can set into my circuit, or build a battery bank. Find the 6 batteries that I need to put into the circuit. I'm not going to do anything less than the full 300. I need a battery bank that will power full 300, so that so this is something I forgot to mention about electricity. If you have more power consumption on a circuit than you can put out in power, some components will not get power. I haven't done any experimentation to see which components the system selects. I imagine, or I'm going to assume for the time being, that it denies power to the last components first. So, in other words, what that means is, and again, this is a supposition, it's a guess, I don't actually know. Actually, I suppose I could experiment and, run face first into my own fences to to see. But what that would mean, if I'm right, is if this wasn't putting out enough power to power all of these fences, that the first fence down there, or what would be the last in the circuit, but the first fence that the zombies would run into, wouldn't have power. That would be what I would guess. I don't actually know. I'll look into that on my own time when I'm not streaming, and I'll find an answer and get that answer for you if anybody actually cares about that question. So, but right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some salvaging done. What's my salvage operations at? 3 out of 5. So it's better than slightly average. Do I have hacker candy? Yes, I do. So now all I gotta do is go and find some place that has lots of cars. I don't think I have any quests. I don't. I am going to pick up a quest because I think I'm doing tier 5 quests, and if I am, then he'll send me to either a Shotgun Messiah factory, which does have a couple of cars in front, or the Shamway factory, which has several cars in front and back. It's got usually 4 cars in the back.
If you break it, you buy it.
And we'll go. This one is 927 meters to the north.
The job. Well, good luck. Looks of it, you're gonna need it.
See what I mean? It's a compulsion. I buy the candy even though I haven't consumed the candies that I do have. All right, so I'm gonna, actually I don't need to carry them. I'm just going to, I'll eat 3 of those to stack them when I get to my first car. All right, so north we go. I'm taking the 4x4 because I am going to salvage, and I can either scrap all the short iron pipes and the springs and stuff that I find when I salvage to save space, or I can bring the 4x4 so I can bring it all back. The short iron pipes I can scrap on site because I can make those in the forge if I need them, but springs I can't make. First of all, hang on a sec. Have I cleared out this fire hall? Yeah, I have. Okay. I still haven't cleared out that apartment building, but it's not going to provide me with batteries. So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm shooting for here, is batteries. So I need lootable cars. Now, that's one thing when you're salvaging. Specifically when you're salvaging so you can start building electrical traps, you'll get electrical parts from cars, not a lot. Better better items to salvage for electrical parts are electrical things like computer control panels, lights, light fixtures. Air conditioners have quite a bit in the way of electrical parts. Cars have electrical parts, but not as much as those others that I mentioned. So, and the salvage operations perk will increase the amount of electrical parts and mechanical parts and springs and pipes that you get from the cars. So it is an important. I'm going to check this garage and see if there's a car in here. No car. So I'll leave that alone. I'm not here to get sidetracked and start clearing all POI. So I believe we are being sent to Shamway. Yes. And this is good. Shamway's got the 4 cars in the back there, as I said. And I'm going to take a little bit of damage because I drove over the cliff. Thank goodness they fixed that, by the way. In Alpha 18 and earlier, when you were on a vehicle, whether it was your 4x4 or your motorcycle, if you hit these trash piles, you destroyed them. That would have been, a little bit of iron I lost. Okay, so cheese-free zone. I got to go up front and activate this first before I hit these cars. But you could salvage the cars and then go up front and activate the rally point and then come back and salvage the cars again. I'm not going to do that, but I have done it. Again, I'm not above that kind of thing. It's just